Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the story of the prodigal son. This is because today is, ta-da, Father's Day, and we really want to celebrate fathers. So today, as we look at the story of the prodigal son, we're going to be learning about what our Father in heaven is like. Let's begin.
In the Bible, we learn about Jesus. He spent a lot of time teaching people about who God was and answering their questions. This included people who'd made poor decisions, such as the tax collectors. This made the Pharisees really cross, so to help them understand, Jesus told them a story. There was once a man who had 2 sons. The younger son said to his father, "Father, I want my share of your inheritance before you die." The dad agreed and divided his property between them. Not long after, the younger son got together all that he had and set off for a distant land. While he was there, he spent all of his money on wild living. But soon he realized he had no money left, and all of his friends started to leave him. At the same time, a famine came over the land. This means that there was not a lot of food around. As he was hungry, he got a farmer to agree to let him work for him, and the farmer made him go to his fields to feed his pigs. Jews thought of pigs as unclean, so this was really difficult for him. He was so hungry, he longed to feed his tummy with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything to eat. Eventually the son came to his senses, and he thought to himself, "Even my father's helpers have food to spare while I am starving to death." He decided to set out and go back to his father. While he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and filled with compassion, he ran to his son. He threw his arms around him, and he kissed him. The son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his servant, "Quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his fingers and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill him. We are going to have a feast to celebrate." Meanwhile, the older brother was working in the field. As he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked them, "What's going on?" The servant told him, "Your brother has returned. Your father has killed the fattened calf because he has his son back safe and sound." The older brother became very angry after the servant left, so his father came out to see him. His father pleaded with him to come inside. So the son asked his dad, why, when he'd done everything right and got nothing, why should his brother, who'd spent all the money on poor choices, get a celebration and the fattened calf? His dad gently said, "You are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we have to celebrate because this brother of yours was dead and is alive. He was lost, and now he's found."
I really love the story of the prodigal son because it's a great illustration about what our Father in heaven is like. Should we have a quick recap to see what we've learnt about what our Father's like? F. F is for forgiving. The father in the story, he was so forgiving of his son that when he returned, he put a cloak around his shoulders, a ring on his finger, and sandals on his feet to show him that he had totally and utterly forgiven him and that he was welcomed back into the family. And our Father in heaven, he forgives us. We only need to go to him and say sorry for what we've done wrong, and he will forgive us, and it will be wiped clean. A. A is for approachable. The son knew that he could go to his father in the story, and his father would listen to his wants and his needs. And our Father in heaven, he is so approachable. He says we only need to call on his name, and he will answer. T. T is for thinking. The father in the story, he was always thinking about his son, so even when his son was a long, long way off, the father was watching and waiting, so that when he saw him, he ran to him because he wanted to spend time with his son. He'd been thinking about him for so long. And our Father in heaven, he thinks about us. He's watching over us both day and night, and even in everything that is going on in the world today, we know that our Father is looking out for us. H. H is for happy. The father in the story, he was so happy to see his son that he wanted to celebrate, and he got his servants to kill the fattened calf because he wanted to celebrate the fact that his son was home, that he once was lost, but now he's found. And our Father in heaven, he is so excited when we say sorry and we accept him into our life, because we are lost. And then when we accept Jesus into our life, we are found. It says the angels in heaven rejoice when a man repents and says sorry for what they've done. He loves us that much. And E is for exceptionally generous. The son, when he was feeding the pigs and he realised he was getting so hungry, he remembered that even the hired help from his father's place had more food than they possibly could need. And our Father in heaven, he wants to feed us. He gives us both physical and spiritual food. We know in the Bible it talks about how when Jesus was teaching a crowd of people and they got hungry because it was evening time, he got some bread and some fish from a little boy. He shut his eyes and he thanked God and he asked God to provide. And God gave so much for them that there were baskets left over. And God today, in his word, in the Bible, this is the spiritual food that we need to read and look at so we know how he'd like us to behave and what he'd like us to do. It's so exciting. And finally, my favourite, R. R is for relationships. The father, he wanted a relationship with his son, which is why he welcomed him back with open arms and celebrated his return. And how much more does our Father in heaven want a relationship with us? He loved us so much that he sent Jesus down from heaven to earth to come and teach us about him, so that when he died on the cross, he could take our sin on him so we could have a relationship with God when we say sorry and accept him in our life. That's a really special and loving relationship that God wants with us. So shall we just have a prayer to thank God for all that he's done? Close your eyes if you find it easier. Dear God, thank you that you are forgiving. Thank you that you are approachable. Thank you that you think of us. Thank you that you want us to be happy. Thank you that you are so exceptionally generous. And finally, thank you so much that you want a relationship with us. Amen. I hope you've really enjoyed learning about the story of the prodigal son and how it reflects on the aspects of our Father in heaven. Have a wonderful week and have fun today.